Hello everyone and welcome to this video. If you are a fan of electronics, you have probably heard about Arduino before. Well, it's nothing except a group of boards which you can program to drive some motors or light up some LEDs. But you should also know that there is other boards like this, the Blue Pill, which can also get programmed to do some cool stuff and have no relations with Arduino. Both of these boards rely on only one key component, which is the MCU, or a microcontroller unit, which have the flash memory to store your program, have the RAM, have the ROM, and have everything inside it. This is the popular ATmega328 microcontroller found in Arduino Uno, and those are the small ATtinies MCUs, and those are microchip microcontrollers. In short, Arduino or similar boards are nothing except expansion boards for the microcontrollers themselves, because interfacing a microcontroller directly is a little bit hard for beginners. But a Raspberry Pi like this is something called an SBC, or a single board computer. It actually have its own processor and RAM, and you will have to attach an SD card with an operating system on it to actually run some things on it. And it of course have an HDMI port, have a micro USB port, and it's just a miniature computer which you can even attach a heatsink to it. This is something we all know, which is a CPU, or a central processing unit. Using this directly is literally impossible, but what you could use to do some things or learn with it is something called an MPU, or a microprocessor unit. Processing, I don't know, but it's just an MPU. This is the Z80, which made the revolutionary jump in 1980s in home computers, and it's just very popular, and you can find it actually in a lot of places. The difference between a microprocessor and a microcontroller is that a microprocessor does not have flash memory to store your code or RAM or anything. It's just a group of transistors attached to each other in a specified manner to just accomplish some instructions you give them. That's why you will have to buy a ROM, or a read-only memory chip, which you have to save instructions on. And you will actually have to buy an EEPROM, not a ROM. An EEPROM is just an electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. We'll talk about it in another video, but you will just have to buy the RAM, buy the ROM, and even attach them to the CPU itself. You will have to burn these ROMs with some data, you will have to look up some instruction sets. So really using a CPU in projects is rarely used, but you could of course use them in learning or just teaching. They're just super great in such things. This is a page from a 300 pages datasheet of the Z80 CPU manual, and this is a pen. I don't know from where I get it, and if you are a future viewer, you'll find some cards taking you to other videos I'll make in the future about the Z80. From the first glance, you can see that the Z80 CPU is not like a microcontroller like the ATmega328. It does not have digital pins or analog pins or anything. It does have an address bus and a data bus, and some system and CPU bus control on some things on the side. Actually, the address bus is where you specify the address you would like to write or read from using the data bus. You can write into a ROM, a RAM, or even an I/O device where you can attach something which allows you to output some digital pins. And of course you will have to provide a clock signal to just get the CPU into the life. You can provide that clock signal using crystals, resonators, or even a 555 timer. Arduinos are a little bit different. You can see that it's very colorful. It have different pins, and each pin might have different functionalities. Well, 99% of the Arduino pins are just the microcontroller pins itself, and you can use it just easily. In short, Arduinos or similar boards are nothing except expansion boards for the microcontrollers. In this case, an Arduino Uno, for example, is an expansion board for the ATmega328. An Arduino might have a USB port, voltage regulator so you can hook up batteries, have labels, have pins, have colorful things. But this doesn't prevent you to burn some things too. If you're advanced enough, you can use microcontrollers directly like this. I'm using the ATtiny13. We'll talk about this project in another video. And about this project also, I use a bigger microcontroller. It just depends on your advancement in microcontrollers. Thanks for watching, hope you learned something new. Subscribe to the channel, maybe share the video to somebody you know, and thanks for watching and have a nice day.